Welcome to another episode of The Raw Truth. I'm your host, BX Bad Boy, as always. And today we're going to talk about the insurrection and the truth that we have to face if we're ever going to move forward. And a conversation between a 31-year-old and 11-year-old about politics and how an 11-year-old outsmarts and puts a 31-year-old in her place and the nonsense that comes out her mouth. So now let's begin with the insurrection. We all know it was probably one of the darkest times in our society since the Dark Ages. Now, I cannot justify their actions. I can only explain them and why we have to forgive them if we're ever going to move forward. They believed, for those who believed, not the ones that were doing it for fun, but those who believed that they need to take out the government because there's some dark conspiracy and they thought they were in their rights. They're not wrong from their point of view. We got to stop looking at it from our point of view and start looking at it from both. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't illegal. It doesn't mean that justice shouldn't be served. But when we look at it from both point of views, we look for justice, not revenge. If we look at it from just one point of view, we tend to go after revenge. Eye for an eye. That's vengeance. That's not justice. We have laws and rules and punishments for actions that we take to violate them. And they took actions and they need to be violated themselves, but under the law, not under our feelings. This isn't about what we feel. This is about the law. And for us to heal, we need to forgive them because they know not what they do. Because they believe they were justified, because they believe Donald Trump is their president, their savior, their quote-unquote natural God. You can't be mad at them for that. You can only feel sad that that's how they see things. And then move on. I regret the 5 deaths that was last reported, and it should never have happened. Even the Trump supporters should have died. But sometimes these things are out of our hands, and this is why you got to think, not react, and not use your emotions, use your intelligence. They used their emotions, and it was raw and negative, and it had severe consequences. They live, I think the saying is an infamy or something like that. But this is, if not as close enough to as bad as 9/11. I just don't see how we can hate them. We have to understand them to move on and keep our souls clean. Their souls are dirty, and they have to either live with it or die with it. It's a sad day. Now, on to the next subject. And now we'll go a little bit lighter. And I say it's lighter because the nonsense coming out of the 31-year-old's mouth is hilarious. We'll just play the clip, and we'll watch my son almost school the 31-year-old, the youth.
And they were talking about what was going on at the...
Oh, sorry. Let me start at the beginning.
Yeah, but they're not just...
All of our jobs are getting back to being outsourced back to China. All of our factories are going back to China. So China could roll up on the United States and be like, listen, I own like 95% of all your manufacturing. So technically, we could become the next Chinese Republic because they fucking own us.
Okay, first off, the Chinese corporations are not the Chinese government. They cannot just come in and take over our country because it isn't the Chinese government that has factories in this country, or work in this country, or stores in this country, or property in this country. It's the corporations. There's 2 separate things. That's like saying Walmart can go into another country, put up a bunch of stores, take over half the country, And Donald Trump can now walk into that country and say, Walmart owns you, so that means I own you. No, that's not how it works. That's just plain ignorance and xenophobia. And the thing is, they never left those countries. Our factories and our employees from our companies have been going to foreign countries for decades because it's cheaper. The taxes are cheaper, labor's cheaper, and the rules are laxer in comparison to the United States. So, of course, these money-grubbing corporations are going to outsource, so to speak.
Yeah, but that's still another. But you're going now to China. But we were talking about how we have to pay Pakistan, Palestine, whatever, to keep our safety.
Yeah.
But that's not our safety.
Yeah.
That's theirs. That's the other country that got involved in that.
And Biden is still making us pay.
Okay, number one, Biden's not even in office. He has no power, nor control, no say in the matter. Whatever we're paying to Palestine, Pakistan, Budapest, doesn't matter. Donald Trump and whoever made up the bill are making us pay. Not Biden. Biden has nothing whatsoever to do with it. Now, when Biden takes office, will he continue their trend? We will see. But we're giving them aid. We're not just saying, here, free money, have some fun. We're helping out allies. And she'll get into that further, and so will my son, and show her true ignorance and my son's intelligence.
But they need help.
We're still footing the bill.
But they need help.
Okay, and they should be able to figure it out.
That's not how that. No.
Yeah.
So you want to keep the money?
Yes, we have people living right here who need help. Who
But
can't
doing
get the help because we're too busy helping everybody else.
Okay, that's bullshit. Okay, our country's just not helping. It's not that we're helping foreign countries and not ourselves because we're helping foreign countries. All we're doing is sending them money. We have the money to take care of ourselves. The United States government just isn't doing it. It's not because we're helping foreign countries. It's just that they're not doing it here. They're letting us fall under like they did with the stimulus package. They weren't going to give us that $600. They only wanted to pay off corporations because they'll trickle down. You know, the whole trickle economy. And at the last minute, they were forced to at least give us $600. This is the government's fault, not the foreign aid's fault. But this is blind ignorance. You need somebody to blame. So instead of her blaming the government who's at fault here, she's blaming foreign aid.
Why do we have to help everyone else? They don't even like us. They laugh in our faces. The whole world hates us.
That doesn't matter.
Because we're Americans.
That doesn't matter.
And because we're stupid.
Okay. Now, one, they don't hate us because we're Americans. We're the only complete country that has race as a big issue. Foreign countries are less racist than we are. And the reason why they think we're stupid, she'll get into a little bit further and see if you can catch why they think we're stupid and why they laugh at us. She'll bring it up.
It doesn't matter what they think of you.
Okay.
The right thing to do is the right thing to do. They're in danger with millions of people.
Okay, so
millions of people who have houses
Listen.
and money to survive.
Listen, so it shouldn't matter what other people say,
No.
right? It shouldn't matter?
No.
Then how come you let it affect you so much?
You see how far she's going to try to prove her point and turn this on our son? He's 11. A fart will affect him 10 times worse than it will an adult, because children do not have full control over their emotions. But he still, as you'll see in a second, puts her in her damn place.
Don't. I've stopped caring.
That's not true.
Well, what's the point anymore?
That's not true. You can tell yourself all you want to that you've stopped caring, but you haven't.
I really have. I really don't care anymore.
You.
It bothers me because it's like, okay, you can stop talking now.
So, my son just told her and put her in a place in the sense that he doesn't care. He gets upset because it's annoying, not because what they say affect him in the sense, like if you call somebody fat, they feel ashamed. No, he's annoyed because he's tired of hearing it. She's got no legs to stand on there because that's the truth. He just, whatever. But he doesn't want to hear it anymore. He wants you to shut the fuck up. The length she'll go to try to make her point and make herself right. It's really sad.
But still, it doesn't really matter. That was weird. But you're getting off topic again. We're talking about
I'm not getting off topic. You're telling me that it shouldn't matter how we look to the rest of the world. It shouldn't matter. None of it should matter.
Because we are
everybody's saying that like for the last 4 years, because Trump's been in office, we've looked like jokes.
I think she just pulled out the point of why everybody's laughing at us and think we're stupid. Did you catch it?
Realize it's been since 1776 that we've looked like a joke to the whole rest of the world.
So now, first she says they think we're a joke because of Trump being elected. Now she's saying we've been a joke since our conception. And for the record, before 1776 we didn't have any freedom. We belonged to Great Britain. After 1776 we became our own independent country. So she's saying from our conception of the United States till now, which is a very long time, the entire time actually, we've been a laughingstock of the whole world. That's why everyone wanted to be like us. They wore our clothes. They wanted to come to America. They wanted to be just like us. I guess they wanted to be laughingstocks too.
The whole rest of the world doesn't care about Americans. The whole rest of the world doesn't care about us. They would not do the same thing for us, so why should we be doing everything else for them?
Doesn't that sound like a projection to you? Because that's exactly what the foreign countries believe, that we don't care about them and we think they're different and we judge them by their race and country. That's everything she said is what they believe, because for the most part it's true, because every foreigner that comes into this country is treated differently by most and ridiculed, and she'll get into that later. She'll start talking about immigrants. This is the reason why they think we hate them, and she projects it the other way around, that they hate us. They don't.
It's the right thing to do. They need help, we help them.
If you want to talk about what the right thing to do is, then people shouldn't be rigging elections.
Rigging elections? What rigging? This is the classic trumpet, whatever you want to call them, Republican who believes there's rigged election and fraud but cannot prove it. Just because you believe something, that doesn't make it a fact. If you can't prove it, you should shut up. Now, there's been no proof of fraud except on Trump voters voting for Trump with their dead relatives. And that's the only one so far. No Democratic fraudulent voting. So, is she talking about the Republicans rigging the election?
If you want to talk about what the right thing to do is, you shouldn't be pulling the wool over everybody's eyes and buying everyone out so that you get your way.
We weren't buying everyone out. They needed help. They need help so that they don't get bombed or attacked.
Why would it be our problem? Those people aren't even our allies.
Who cares? They need help.
Who cares? If we go into a world war, guess what? They're going to have enough money to be able to buy their own nuclear weapons and bomb the crap out of us.
Okay, for the record, they're not storing their money in the fucking mattress waiting for World War III. They're buying stuff with it for their country. And two, even if you could buy a nuclear bomb off the black market, bombs cannot be just like thrown at you. One, you need an airplane to drop said bomb, because you're not getting a nuclear bomb through our customs. It's not happening. And you're not going to be able to come into our country through the air without being shot down. 3, you need a nuclear missile, an intercontinental missile to get us. And those aren't cheap. So what the fuck is she talking about? This is just more xenophobic bullshit so she can try to prove her point, because she's falsely afraid of something she knows nothing about. And you'll see later on, she says she did her research. You tell me, did she do her research?
And you still want to give them money? You still want to help them?
Then you don't understand how you help someone.
No, I do
that
understand.
comes back to you.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But
The
that's
only way it's
always
going to come
happening
back
for me.
is in nuclear bombs.
Do you hear her silly bullshit? You don't help anyone else. Be selfish and only help yourself, because helping others, it never gets back to you. You don't get any help in return. That's not how society works. That's not how the universe works. You put it out there and it comes back to you eventually. But you got to be pure of heart, not just do it to get something in return, because then it defeats the point. I don't get my son a Christmas present because I want something in return. That defeats the point of giving. Now, if my son is grateful and returns the favor, awesome. But it shouldn't be a requirement for me to get him a gift. He must retaliate or give back to me. That takes all the love out of it. It means I'm only doing it to get something in return. Excuse me. So that makes it selfish. Like her.
He was asking me, what happens if Biden gets in office and then he actually does a good job? And I said then it would be a freaking miracle and everybody would be very excited.
This is what a hater sounds like. This is what a Republican hater sounds like. And what I mean by Republican hater, a Republican that's a hater, because he's a Democrat. If he was a Republican, she'd be cheering him. Douche much? She should be hoping that Biden does an awesome job. Not, if he does, it'd be a miracle. For all of us who can't stand Trump, even when he first got in office, most of us said the same thing. You do good, we do good. Point blank. She should be saying the same thing about Biden. But no, she's ignorant because she lost. She's a sore loser like Donald Trump is.
Why do you care about politics?
Because something just appeared
they
randomly.
have to. They have to do politics all day long at school.
That's stupid.
All day. All right, now she's gonna start talking about news networks. Now I'm gonna give a countdown of 5. Guess what she says about Fox? And I bet money, and I mean that, I bet money. If you guess right, well, I won't know if you guessed right, because you're gonna comment probably after hearing what she says. But if you're not shocked at the words that come out of her mouth, I'll be surprised. But I bet you won't know what she says about Fox News. I bet you're gonna get the wrong answer. And I mean, honor system, if you get the right answer, kudos. If you don't, no problem. I ain't gonna judge you on it. But I doubt any one of you, even if you're a liberal, Democrat, or Republican, you're gonna get the answer wrong of what she says about Fox News.
I wanted to deal with that.
That's because they're bought out.
CNN ain't nothing but lies. I know that.
CNN and Fox News, they're bought out by the Democrats.
Bet you didn't see that coming. Bet you didn't see that the Democrats own Fox News. Bet you didn't see that coming. Oh, it doesn't end here. She's going to continue to elaborate on Fox News.
Wait a minute, then why did Fox News take Trump's side before?
They'd never take his side.
Fox News has never taken Trump's side. What the hell is wrong with her? See, this is what happens when you listen to Trump, but don't listen to the rest of the world, and you take shit for granted. She's going to finish explaining on how she knows Fox isn't on Trump's side.
They never take his side. The only thing that they report on is both sides
Both
of the
sides,
story,
my ass.
but they never take his side. I watched Fox News the whole day the other day when they were talking about what was going on at the Capitol.
So, because she watched the Fox News talking about the attack on the Capitol, that means because they didn't side with the attack on the Capitol and side with Trump about the attack on the Capitol, that means they're not on Trump's side. So they should have been supportive of the attack? That what she's saying?
The other day, though.
They don't take his side, ever.
No, they stopped, but they took his side before.
No, they didn't. Nobody takes his side. Nobody has taken his side. That's why everyone's known that he's been going to get banned from Twitter.
He's been on Twitter for 4 years without being banned. He got banned because he incited the riot at the Capitol and continued to talk about continuing the fight against losing in a fair and just election.
And from
He
Facebook,
did.
Everybody knows that.
He got permanently banned, actually.
I know. We all know that.
I keep getting notifications, and it's annoying because I don't want to look at that right now.
Shame.